Hello, film school students. I'm Susan, and this is doing very good films on a very tiny budget. So, remember, your observant eyes are the best thing you have. Is there an interesting door around on a house? An interesting house with texture, even with holes, even with uh, strange siding or weird paint on it, a tree that's gnarled, that's misshapen. All of those make great pictures on a film to add interest and doesn't cost anything. Is there a big boulder? Is there a rock? Also, be watching the lighting, the sunset, what shade trees there are. A lot of times, camera work looks better in the shade for sure than in the glaring sun. So check out the shades. You don't need fancy lighting equipment. All you need to do with your eyes is look at the different textures. What's darker? What's lighter? Under a tree, under a roof, under a house, under a public building, the marketplace as the background. You don't want faces to get too close or you'll have to get their permission. But if they are further, if the camera is further away, you can get all the people in the cool marketplace for nothing, and their faces aren't real evident, so you don't have to necessarily get permission. And like we said before, do you have a cool scarf? Do you have a person who makes art? Do you have a person who makes music? Do you have a person who makes children's choir? you know? Someone that plays an instrument. Your eyes are the most important thing to look around the town. If you take the camera close to a door, for instance, then you have the texture of the door and you can make that look like one room, and then you can bring it to the wall at another place and make that look like another location. So the same building, even the same indoor house, you can have 18 different locations just by rearranging the furniture, by having just one section of the wall for one scene and then the opposite wall for another scene. So I don't know, you've probably seen this trick, but this is what they do in Hollywood all the time. They put their fingers like this and then the other finger like that, make a square, and that's the camera picture. The square, putting your fingers together in a square makes the camera picture. So you walk around and you look and you can do like one section of a wall can be one scene, one doorway can be another scene, part of the kitchen can be one scene, maybe part of the outdoors under one tree can be one scene, but it can all look like different locations when you're actually in one location. So remember to keep a notebook. We had talked about that last time for all these different notes of the way you can do this. You can have, take pictures of people twiddling their fingers as B-roll. They call the B-roll the extra little shots that adds to the scene. Or somebody walking, or somebody's shoulder over somebody's shoulder looking at the person. All of these different ways, different lightings, different sounds. Be sure to observe with your ears the sounds when traffic is, when wind can cause, even the lightest breeze can cause the least problems on a microphone. So you also listen with your ears. The crunch of leaves, you can record that and use it later to add with people walking. So there's all kind of tricks like that you can do for very inexpensive, but the photographer and the camera person's eye must see every detail. Sometimes a little ant hill with the ants running around, just put a stick in it and see the ants running around. That might make an interesting little picture to symbolize something like people running around. And a butterfly, a moth, a caterpillar, a bug, an interesting spider. All of those you put as part of the scene, and it doesn't cost a whole lot of money. You keep a box, remember, of interesting props that you can do. You also have costume boxes. You find a pair of glasses, you find a scarf, you find a jacket, you find a shirt. You fold them up, roll them a lot of times, makes them a little smaller and they don't get wrinkled. And then you have all these costumes that you can put together for hardly no money at all. And you share. So don't let the thought of I need money to be a filmmaker get in the way of your dreams. No, you don't need money to be a filmmaker. If I had had someone tell me all this stuff when I was young, then I would have been able to do it. Right now, I'm older, and so I'm producing a little more and helping other people realize this. But the problem is, a lot of these Americans don't want to hear this. They don't want to do it. I've got a young man right now that I'm producing, and he's directing, and he don't want to hear one thing I have to say. And you know what? His film looks it. It's pretty sloppy. It's so embarrassing that I'm probably not going to show anybody or invite anybody to the screening to watch the movie, because he won't listen to one thing I say. He wants to do everything his way. He don't want no woman to tell him what to do. Don't be like that. You find your different gifts of different people. One person's good at math. One person's good at creativity. One person's good at makeup. Put all your skills together and work together and brainstorm and think of different ideas, and you can come up with amazing ways to make amazing short films for right now, but it's practice for the bigger films later. And short films still win a lot of attention in all the different film festivals. It has to be 20 minutes or less, but you make amazing 5-minute films, 10-minute films, 3-minute advertisements and commercials. And then guess what? People pay attention when you make them amazing, even at 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 20 minutes. And then a lot of times you can get investors when you show several of these, and they'll go, wow, those are amazing films, with the texture, with the interest, with the different types of music, with the different type of characters. I want to help you make a film. I'll invest. So do not think of this, oh, I'm just making a short film. I'm just making a 3-minute film. You make the most amazing 3 to 5 minute film you can, and you show it to everybody. You'll start getting a good reputation. So you don't need a lot of money, okay? I'm producing now. Producing is teaching people how to do this stuff when they'll listen. But like I said, if I had known all of this, somebody had told me this when I was young, I would have won an Oscar or Hollywood Awards by now. So be sure and don't underestimate the resources, the items, the props, the costumes, the people around you. Okay? They are all valuable in God's eyes and in a filmmaker's eyes. Okay, thank you for listening. You have a wonderful week.